So the workshops that we've been doing over the summer for Look to the Rock have included getting experts in the community, whether it's with ecology, the landscape, quarrying history, and for them to kind of share in that landscape what they've experienced, what they've learnt, to a group of young people and families, and then for that to spur a creative response. So in the next kind of slides, you'll see one of those examples being responding through charcoal drawing and projecting some of their images using the idea of light and space.
There were 3 octopus out there together. There was the female who was sitting on the rocks, and then there were the 2 males. Then this was when the fight had been going on for a little while. So you can see how one of them starts turning white and the other one's getting much darker. The darker one was the one that was winning. So the more it was winning, the darker it was getting. And the white one was getting more and more pale as it got more and more submissive, until eventually the brown one managed to kind of clamber over the top like this, so that it was basically enveloping the one that had turned pale and had its beak there and was biting. And they pulled all these kind of massive flamboyant shapes until the one that was submissive turned completely white. And once it was completely white, it was some sort of sign that it had given up. And the dark octopus here went over to the female, and she held her hand out and he reached out with his arm, and then the 2 of them walked off across the sand holding hands, and they would have gone off to mate. And the male will then die after they've mated. The female will lay eggs inside a little cave in the rock, and she will stay there, and she won't hunt and she won't eat, and she'll just protect the eggs. When the eggs are then ready to hatch, she will have finished her life as well, and she's kept them safe until the moment that they're born. And then that's the end of her cycle as well.
And once she's born, when they're born, how many are born?
There are hundreds. And you can see them, the eggs are transparent, so you can see cuttlefish tend to lay their eggs on vertical sort of posts or strips of coral, and the octopus lay them inside, and the eggs, they're just like little marbles, and then the bigger they get, the more transparent they are. And you can see them fully formed, all the little legs and arms. You can see the eyes and stuff inside their little transparent.
So maybe we can start drawing octopus's shapes of legs and swimming through the sea and try and see how many shapes we get. Do you think that would be a good starting point?
That would be cool. Octopus, when they swim, are very cool. They go all elongate and they suck in water, and then they puff it out really fast and they kind of jet themselves along. Octopus as well, they can detach an arm and make it wriggle off to distract a predator, and then they'll go into hiding and camouflage themselves whilst the predator goes off to try and grab what it thinks is the octopus, and it's just this one random leg.
So can you tell me about the ocean again, what it does?
Well, I would say the ocean is just like a giant version of life. It's full of everything we need. It has our oxygen, it's full of all of our food we need. It has and everything. It's like it's a own world itself. It takes you like out of Earth's atmosphere, I suppose. Because the possibilities of the stuff you can see, it's just like the root of life, I suppose. It helps everything and everyone on this planet.
That's lovely. And you live by the ocean, and you say you swim as well?
Yeah, I snorkel. I record the footage so I can find something new. I can find something that will help our oceans. If no one was helping our oceans, we would just be a giant pile of dump. They don't really know about what's living there. In 2030, there will be more rubbish than fish in our oceans. So there needs to be a way to fix that. So if we stop eating fish, there'll be more population. If we stop littering, we'll have more chance of our world staying the way it is. Really just the way they survive. So this is the life cycles. First they would start as their egg.
Yep.
Then they would become this larvae thing, which is like, then they'll become, so then there's like a mini tower of jelly stacked together. I don't know what. I thought this was going to be an octopus. They're all going to come off of each other and then become young jellies in certain times. Then they will be able to float around. They won't get much food, but they'll eat the plankton and other things. And when they grow up, they'll become this fully grown compass jellyfish. And I've got one here. So that's pretty much the life cycle. These were the first living creatures on our. These first swimming creatures were actually jellies. They evolved the same way. They're all similar to the ones we have today, actually. So that was the first swimming thing that wasn't just on the floor.
Because I think you've.
Like a sort of.
No, the ends are going like that. I'm bad at printing. I can draw, but I don't know if I can paint. But if people understand what this means, not what it is. It doesn't matter what it
Behaves
looks like.
differently, doesn't it? So you've got to allow it to behave and paint, and then you find a form, don't you?
Even if it doesn't look good, it is good default.
Then can you make it?
Like doing your charcoal, just each time you're adding more detail.
Wow.
This one might want to come further. There must be throw some rocks in there to draw, throw some rocks in there.
Then we go see when it's dry, put the light on.
It's such a small area, and actually if you look at the history, it's so rich. There's so many levels to Portland that you wouldn't know about unless these kind of activities had been put on. Lots of the young people found out something very different about where they lived, and it wasn't just knowledge in the head, it was something that they could then take and do something with. So for example, I remember really vividly being shown how a fault line was to be dealt with in the quarry and what tools were used, and then to see the young people actually break the stone using those same ideas. It wasn't just understanding, it was then actually following through.
So we're going to try it with the light again now. Do some waves.
I think it's brilliant. This Historic England project is not just a one-off event, but it's a real building block for future learning, because it's not just looking at big events in history, it's actually celebrating the everyday heritage that we have on Portland, and it's going to impact another generation. This project is really opened up a doorway really in the areas of learning, because it's connecting different parts of life, whether it be architects, whether it be the quarrymen themselves, whether it be ecologists. And I think that's really important, because learning isn't just about one in-box thinking. Learning is about connecting the dots. So it's really fostering an atmosphere of openness, which I think is going to be really beneficial, not just for the island, but for those who are involved in the project. And seeing more interdisciplinary connections and relationships forming.